My power over you grows stronger yet.
It's raining on Ushiromima. It's my favorite place.
The fun time of the every day.
It seems the weather will be like this all day tomorrow after all.
Wow.
It's right in my mind. Anyway, hi everybody. Yippee, yippoo.
Aloha.
What happened last time?
Oh.
Last time on
Child abuse?
Maria, we smacked.
Yeah.
Weather.
Beatrice got a letter.
Mystery
letter.
umbrella.
Oh my god.
Beatrice real or sugar daddy of man? We may never know, but probably real because he insane.
Real. So freaking real. We're also inebriated this time as well, so.
Also looking for gold.
I'm still sober.
Well,
yeah, I'm still sober.
There's always time to fix that.
We as you.
I had a half of a Mike's and I'm an inebriated.
And apparently that's enough.
And
Half of a fucking Mike's head.
And apparently that's enough.
Mike Soft.
Mike, yeah, that's me. That's me.
You can't even handle half a freaking Mike's head. Let me tell you.
So everybody was freaking out because what's her face, little girl, was out in the storm and she was like, the witch gave me an umbrella, and everybody's like, no, stupid child, no, she didn't.
But she's like,
the witch also gave a letter.
Yeah, a letter with the freaking print of the Kinzo's ring that he threw out, probably. That's the stamp, and everyone's like, what the fuck, who's Beatrice? Is she, like, his sugar mommy or some shit?
She basically said that they need to find the gold, or else all of their assets belong to the witch.
Yeah, and then, if you remember, one of the last scenes, Kraus showed Natsuhi, his wife, one of the actual gold bars that they keep secret. So the legend is real, presumably.
So yeah, last time we learned that the One Piece is real.
The One Piece is
The One
real.
Piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Shall we continue now, misters?
It seems like the weather will be like.
Oh,
I
God.
already messed it up. Line one.
So real.
Dang, this makes the good weather we had earlier feel like a lie. George Aniki and I were killing time in front of the parlor television. At that point, Jessica returned. Oh my god, Jessica.
Holy fuck,
This is
Jessica.
This is so exciting, guys. Her face was still blank, but it looked like she'd calmed down a little since we'd last seen her.
Is Maria still in front of the portrait?
No, she just came back and she's sleeping over there on the sofa. It's getting pretty late for her after all. Looking at the clock, I saw it was a little past 10 p.m. Even if we were planning to stay up all night, it was about time to head back to our room.
Well, my mom did have a room prepared for us in the mansion. What'll we do?
Hold on.
Oh, God. Yeah?
What the hell? There's a bunch of crap in my cup now. What the hell?
Hello?
Somehow dust got in my water.
Dude, kill it!
No!
Kill the dust!
The dust water. Oh, I don't care, Beatrice.
How did dust get my water? But everyone. I'd rather head back to the guest house. Going by what we saw of our parents, I think it'd be better if we weren't in the mansion.
I agree. Feels like they're telling us kids to mind our own business and stay out of their way. Let's be good little boys and girls and do that.
Ugh!
As we were
Satan.
talking about this, Aunt Rosa came into the parlor.
Oh,
She was looking all over restlessly, probably trying to find Maria. Aunt Rosa, if you're looking for Maria, she's over there on the sofa.
Thank you. My, she's out cold. We must move her to your bed.
if you'd like, I'll carry her over to a bed.
Thanks. That would be wonderful. Are you all heading back to the guest house? Or are you going to stay in the room Natsuhi-san have prepared here? We were just talking about that. We just decided to head over to the guest house. I see. Then could I ask you to take Maria with you? feel much more reassured if she stays with all you cousins, and not me. I might hit her. Anyway.
Behind those words, she seemed to be concealing some regret that the adults, herself included, had deeply hurt Maria's feelings. Leave it to us, Aunt Rosa. After all, we do have an expert at comforting Maria with us.
Are you talking about me? I couldn't do it myself. We'll need everyone together.
Wow.
And also a car.
That's right. Butler, weren't you the one who hit it off with Maria when you were messing around earlier?
As we said this, Aunt Rosa smiled, looking truly happy.
Thank you, everyone. It looks like our meeting will last until very late. So, while I'm sorry to burden you like this, I'll be counting on you all to take care of Maria.
Sorry. You always gotta make a stink while I'm drinking my drink. Bars.
That is bars. I was just coughing. I don't know what you mean.
You wanna play it?
I didn't do that. That was
Whatever,
you.
Dude.
I'm professional.
Deep throats microphone.
Wow.
Hey, Maria, are you sound asleep? We're going back to the guest house. Maria muttered something indistinct, rolled over, and fell back to sleep. It looked like she was sleeping deeply.
She's really out cold. I'd hate to wake her.
Right. I'll carry her.
Wow.
Maybe just dropped her on her head.
Is this third person?
I don't know.
I got...
Bobby,
I
look, bladder
think
did
it's
it blocked. Oh, it is.
There you
Okay,
go.
there you go.
Oh, that's Battler. Yeah.
I lifted her up and put her on George Aniki's back. It was raining hard outside, and Aniki couldn't hold an umbrella and carry Maria at the same time. It looked like Aunt Rosa would come with us as far as the guest house to help out. However, when she heard Uncle Krause's voice call out to her, she had no choice but to return.
Now that's a problem. I have to go back now. Is everyone returning to the guest house?
After we left the hall on the way to the entrance, the door to the servant room opened and Shannon Chan popped out.
It has grown very dark, so allow me to guide you. That would be great, Shannon Chan. George Kun is going to carry Maria there. Could you hold an umbrella for him? Yes, certainly.
Shannon Chan brought umbrellas for each of us and a flashlight to guide the way. As we open the
Sorry, it's really loud.
Goodbye.
So I'm sorry.
There is no line.
I'm sorry.
Why are things breaking?
No, it was just kind of louder than I thought it would be. Okay. We're good.
No,
now.
dude, I heard a breaking glass sound effect.
That's what, hold on, let me save. That's what happens when you click something. See?
Bago!
Bago!
As we opened the front door, the downpour was quite terrific. It looked like we wouldn't have any spare time to take a pleasant walk and enjoy the nighttime rose garden. Aniki, is she too heavy? Want me to carry her? Pussy?
It's okay, I can carry her. You fucking trend out of your mind. Fucking Royd. Jesus Christ. You're like 12. Calm down.
I'm truly grateful. Please take care of Maria.
Yeah, I got it, stupid bitch.
Sure, you got it, stupid bitch. But I guess this is good night on Rosa.
Stupid bitch. Good night.
Then I will see them over there and return here. Yes, please.
Stupid bitch, watch us leave.
Maria, I'm sorry for everything.
Oh, fuck, I almost knocked something over. It's fine.
Hello.
Rosa's mumbling voice didn't reach the person in question, nor any of the kids, but disappeared beneath the sound of the rain.
Yeah, okay.
Rain.
Rain.
Filter. Put a filter
Rain.
on the images.
Yeah, it's
Filter on
raining.
images.
After cutting through the tiny rose garden, or the rainy rose garden, we arrived at the guest house.
Bro.
If only I'd applied for the position of Maria Carrier. Then I would have gotten a chance to have Shannon Chan's huge boobs rubbing all over my arm. My cousin's boobs on my arm.
She's not his cousin.
What is she? I forget how they're related.
Shannon's just his maid. Jessica's his
Oh,
maid.
no, yeah.
No, this is okay.
You're
This
right.
is,
You're
not-
right.
not
You're right. The
related.
slaves are not related. I forgot. It's slave breast, not cousin breast. So it's chill. My slave's breast all up on my arm. My slave's breast person that I own. Boob.
But I wasn't looking at it, Chase. What? No, I read the line. That was the line.
Yeah.
That was exactly the
I
line.
thought that if I didn't walk like this, George Summer would get all wet. Come on, quit babbling and go in.
After being urged on by Jessica, we folded up our umbrellas and went into the guest house.
Has anyone gotten their clothes wet? I can bring some towels if you want.
You don't need to worry about us so much. Thanks, Shannon-chan.
No, that's right. We're planning to play cards or something. Would you care to join us for a bit?
Huh? Who had the night shift on today's schedule? I believe we had a special schedule during the family conference. Also, I think a few alterations have been made, so I will go and check.
Wait, if you have to go all the way back to the mansion to find out... Wait, what? Hold on. Oh,
Yeah.
That's so weird. Why is there a comma there? That tripped me the fuck up.
True.
Is that proper punctuation? Do I not know the English language?
I mean, it's not like improper, it's just kind of weird.
Weird. If you have to go all the way back to the mansion to find out, don't force yourself.
That's all right. I can find out from the servant room in the guest house. Please excuse me for a short while.
I had a gigantic chorizo burrito, and my
Damn!
stomach is not enjoying it.
Oh God, that was me last night, man. I had canes. It was bad.
Well, I had fucking chorizo, so it's probably gonna be
Hi,
worse.
Sepatia, welcome.
Hello.
Chorizo.
This is a good time. We're talking about our shits.
Good, great time. We were all about pee in the sub night stream, so
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
it
there was
great.
a lot of piss.
There was a lot of piss.
Shannon-chan gave a quick bow and went into the guest house servant room. The rest of us headed for the cousin's room and decided to put Maria to bed for the time being. Maria was sleeping very deeply, and there was absolutely no sign of her eyes opening. For now, we'd get some soft drinks out of the room's refrigerator and drink those while playing cards or something. I'm about to play Uno, bruh.
Yo, who's winning that Uno? Knock knock. Oh, Kanan-kun?
Oh, this
And
guy.
you're here too, Genji-sama. What has happened with tonight's shift?
Kraus-sama has given an order. He made some sizable changes to the shift schedule.
Indeed. Rhoda-san now has the night shift at the mansion. Shannon and Kanon have the night shift in the guest house. Kumasawa-san and I have been ordered to sleep in the guest house. Just now, a phone call came, saying that once you arrive, you were also to remain here for the rest of the night.
Huh? That certainly is a sizable change. The shifts at the guest house and the mansion have been completely reversed, haven't they?
Okay, this I think is third person.
Third person.
Originally, Shannon and Canon had been assigned to the night shift in the mansion, while the night shift in the guest house, where all of the relatives were staying, had been assigned to Gerda, who had an abundance of experience in entertaining. Kumasawa should have been sleeping at the guest house, while Genji should have been sleeping in the mansion. However, it seemed that Kraus had suddenly ordered that the schedule be modified. The shifts at the guest house and the mansion had all been reversed, and Genji was spending the night shift in the guest house.
It's probably because of Beatrice-sama's letter.
Why, probably.
After such a mysterious letter appeared, it was only natural that Kraus-sama would suspect one of us. We served directly under the master, so Kraus-sama tried as best he could to keep us far away from the family conference.
Genji, Shannon, and Kanon were all permitted to wear the Shiromiya family's crest, the one-winged eagle, as the servants who served directly under Kinso. Of course, since they were working for the Shiromiya family, they had to obey anyone's orders, but their only boss was Kinzo. Since only Kinzo held the right to employ them, even Kraus could not have them dismissed of his own accord. Because of this, Kraus and the others often viewed these servants as Kinzo's underlings and shunned them. And in fact, Kinzo seldom let anyone other than them enter his study. This sudden shift change was probably a clear expression of the sense of mistrust that had caused. Considering the time Kinzo had left to live, this would definitely be the last family conflict before the problem of inheritance came up. On top of that, the mysterious letter that claimed to be from Beatrice had dropped in out of the blue. Kraus definitely wanted to keep Kinzo's loyal subjects away from the table of such a delicate and important discussion.
If you would excuse me, I will go rest. If anything happens, call me immediately.
Oh,
Our guest tonight is a special case after all.
ready? 1, 2. Yes, certainly,
Certainly,
Genji-sama.
Genji-sama.
Wow.
That was gay.
Okay, is this Battler again?
No, this is still third person. He's not here.
Okay. Genji nodded back, went behind a screen, took off his jacket, and slowly began to relax after days worth of tension. I need to use the restroom. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
I have to poop.
Yeah, poopy time. Why should
Be entertained.
Okay, how do we be entertaining? Oh. Ew! Ew, stop it! Don't
Is that entertaining, chat?
stop! Stop it!
Why?
No.
Is it not entertaining?
Stop. Help! Help! On stream where boyfriend does fart noises at his girlfriend.
What can I say?
I think that's pretty. This is content, chat.
What are we having for dinner tonight?
Well, I don't know.
Probably gonna make chicken and rice. Are you gonna want that?
Probably.
Okay. That way we don't have to spend money.
Real. My mom just opened her Mother's Day gift. Let's go.
Yeah, did she like it? Or is
Yeah,
she like, this sucks and I hate it forever?
No, she really likes it.
That's epic.
I sent her a really cozy blanket and then like a well, it's like a diffuser, like a reed diffuser.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's gonna have her her hysterectomy surgery soon, and then she's gonna be under for 6 weeks. So I wanted her to have something comfy and something smell good. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
How do you do? You make it. You make it so much better.
Because you're doing it with your tongue. You gotta
No, I'm not
press.
doing it with my mouth. This is with my mouth.
Oh, okay. No, you gotta press your like the side of your cheek, you know, against your gums. You gotta squish it together.
Whoa!
See, you're getting there. This dude is not hard.
Ew, ew.
That was a wet one.
Ew. Okay. This is so epic.
How long do you
Also,
think it's gonna take Shane to use the bathroom?
I don't know, and I'm really scared actually. I think we might lose our minds.
Adam can only do hand farts.
Oh my my god, I just realized the subs only mode is still on chat. Oh no. Well,
Nice.
now it's not. My bad, literally everyone.
Awkward.
Awkward. That's so awkward. Now people can chat now. Oopsies. And mouth farts into my wrist. Oh yeah, you can do your wrist. Oh yeah. That's good. That's good right there. Hey Adam, could you go and check? I don't know if you can see, but I did like a GIF thing on the side of the Twitch chat where like all the stream avatar stuff is. Can you see if that's there and it's working? Since we're just chilling. I think it's the one that says GIF party. It's the one that says GIF party. Just freaking checking. What?
Nothing.
What? Here, should we place our bets to how long Shane's gonna take?
Okay, I'm gonna say
As a person born male, how long do you think it's gonna take?
I don't think that has anything to do with it, dude. I think he's just gonna. I think he's gonna get sick, and then he's gonna be like, "Guys, I don't know if I can do this."
He's gonna get sick over the chorizo burrito he had?
Dude, I don't know. I've got a feeling.
Don't say that.
Sorry, dude. I just call it like I see it.
No, I believe in him. Also, my mom said, "Thank you again. Say hi to my long-haired, guapo almost son."
Wow.
And she said after that, guapo means handsome.
Just in case you didn't know.
Just in case you didn't know. I love my white mom. I love how she said almost son.
Well, yeah, not the real thing.
Yeah. You're almost there. You know?
No.
All right. Okay, you know what?
Okay, I'm back.
Holy shit! He's back! I trusted him.
What?
I trusted him.
What did I do?
No, we were placing our bets to see how long you would take, and Annie said that you would get sick and be like, "Hey guys."
You're like you would lose the battle with the toilet.
But I trusted you. I trusted you in your battle.
Well, I'm still hurting, so we'll see.
Well,
I believe.
I believe you.
I think. Damn it! Fucking Filiberto's fucking food poisoned me.
No. Overcome. Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Well, I don't know.
Dude, I mean, do whatever you gotta do, bro.
Yeah, bro. Drink water. Don't forget.
Yeah,
Hydrate or dehydrate.
I also went and got water.
Let's go.
For sure. Okay.
Well.
I'm a boy. I'm a little boy.
You're 16. You're 16.
How
He's
old
16.
is this guy?
He's 16.
Yeah, little boy.
The ones who just returned now, were they children?
Yes. The other relatives are having a conference in the mansion. It looked like they would drag on for quite some time.
Then we've got it easy. It's already this late, and there's this weather. The rest of the relatives will probably spend the night in their rooms in the mansion.
Yes, probably. I'm only saying this because Genji-sama isn't around, but I'm a little happy I was sent to the guest house, I guess.
Oh? Why's that? Because you can stay away from Madame and Ava-sama, those bullies? Or do you have another reason?
It's not as though I have another reason.
She wants to suck George.
Dude, she might be desperate. She might be taking whoever's willing.
No!
I see. Then let's do our best together with our night shift. Counting on you, Nason.
Just now, I was asked to go to the children's room and play with them.
Third person. Third
Shannon
person.
hung her head. Shannon hung her head apologetically, gazing at Cannon, uncertainly. Cannon didn't try to meet her eyes, and spoke curtly as he sighed. It looked like he didn't plan on indulging his sister.
You can't. You were assigned to the night shift. Besides which, it isn't necessary for furniture like us to respond to an invitation to play. You understand, right?
Yes, I do understand.
Shannon's shoulders drooped slightly. She already expected that Cannon, a stickler for the rules, would say something like that, but she still seemed a little discouraged. She could always just fucking do it anyway. As Cannon flipped through a logbook, he spoke without facing Shannon.
That means the children will be waiting for you. You'll have to apologize and tell them you have the night shift and won't be able to stay with them. Go and come back.
Huh? Yes. I'll go apologize and come back.
Wink, wink.
Shannon hurriedly stood from her seat before her brother's mood would change and flew out of the servant room after giving a quick bow.
Wink, wink.
As he watched her go, Cannon took a single deep breath. Genji's voice came from beyond the screen.
Cannon, I will be here soon, so you can go too.
Genji-sama, Cannon wasn't anyone taught. And so I was.
What? Yo.
What?
Oh, you got muffled at the end there.
Oh,
Oh God.
excuse me. Sorry. I just have a little sippy.
Yeah.
That is only
Yeah.
because you were not there at the time. If you had been, you would have been invited as well. It is good to play as a child from time to time.
No. Such a thing is not necessary for me. Human children may have a need to play, but we are furniture.
Is that so?
Mei-san is also furniture. Even if she pretends to be a person, it will only hurt her later. I understand that, so I try not to get too close to people. That's all.
Genji did not say anything after that. After a while, he stood up and used a pot of hot water to make powdered cocoa, serving some to Cannon as well.
Wow.
Bed.
Is that for real? I had no clue.
Dumbass, you're too loud. You'll wake Maria up.
Oh, this is still third person.
Yeah, I guess so.
Battler was so surprised that he yelled obnoxiously and scattered his cards everywhere. His voice caused Maria to turn over once, but she soon fell back into a deep sleep. Jessica gave him a jab, and he lowered his voice.
Still, seriously. Now that you mention it, they really did have that kind of atmosphere, didn't they? Ah, now I see. So George Aniki is...
George couldn't be seen anywhere in the room. A short while ago, when Shannon came into the room, George suddenly said that he'd forgotten something in the mansion and needed to go back and get it.
Oh, they're fucking?
Shannon said she would guide him, just like she had on the way to the guest house, and the two of them departed together.
Well, there's actually been signs of it for a while now. You know, questions about hobbies and favorite things. I always thought it was a bit much for a passing interest, and look what's happened now.
Come to think of it, I get the feeling George Aniki's always been overly nice to Shannon-chan. Now I get it.
Da fucking.
Yeah, so bro's boinking the servant?
He's boinking her. They're
Good for
boinking.
George.
Good for George.
Ah, yes, finally a character that I play fucks.
You are 17 going. Sorry.
This might not be legal.
Just kidding. She's 18. She's at least 18. Or she might be the same age as George. I forget what her canon
I thought
age is.
George was 18.
No, he's
He's
21.
22.
22?
Oh, okay. He's kind of old.
According to the weather report, it looks like it'll be at its worst tonight. Also, it seems it'll last all day tomorrow. So it should get a little better.
Really? Then maybe the boat won't arrive until the day after tomorrow. I hope that doesn't interfere with your work on Monday.
I already knew the typhoon would be coming beforehand. Just in case, I made sure I didn't have any plans for Monday, so it's okay. I may not look it, but I really am the type who can play ahead in his schedule. George puffed out his chest, proud. Compared to the calm appearance George always had as the oldest cousin, he now looked amusingly like a little kid. Shannon chuckled at this abrupt contrast.
It's no surprise you're so well prepared. As someone who'll bring prosperity to this company someday.
Well, making a company prosper really is a tough job. Money isn't the only thing that's important. I learned that, well, in studying under my father. Making a company prosper is like owning a castle and leading your subordinates. My dad really loves reading about leaders during the warring periods of Japan. A hobby that's probably influenced by the fact that he shares
Toyotomi Hideyoshi.
Toyotomi Hideyoshi's name. Much of his philosophy on managing business comes from talking about them. Did you know? Takeda Shingen, who was feared as the leader of the strongest cavalry corps in the warring periods, started out with his troops in complete disarray, and didn't have the kind of strong leadership necessary to utilize them well.
Is that true? That's a little unexpected.
In order to unite his troops, Shingen showed his excellent leadership in many ways. For example, when a soldier succeeded well in battle, he would immediately honor them with a medal. Normally, that kind of thing was put off until after the war, and they were all awarded at once. He continued this diligently while on the field of battle, and immediately showing his appreciation for his troops' military exploits motivated them in an extremely significant fashion. Also, whenever one of his troops was brought down by an illness, he would be the first to rush up to them and care for them and so on. Takeda Shingen wasn't just the man who led the strongest cavalry corps in the warring period. He was the person who cared the most for his troops throughout the warring period.
And because he was that kind of person, all of his troops went along with him.
The truth was, Shannon had already heard this story several years ago. But whenever a discussion of his father led to this sort of topic, George would always glow and look like he was having a great time. So Shannon just smiled without interrupting, urging him to continue. Of course, in a capitalist world, money determines both your strength and the height of your fortifications. You can't build up a castle or succeed in a war by yourself. Such things can only be accomplished when the support of many subordinates by borrowing their strength. After understanding this, when I look at my father's back, I realize how immature I am. I can clearly see how much competition he had to overcome before building up all he has now.
George-sama, you truly look up to your father. I'm jealous.
Sorry, that's not how I meant it.
I'm sorry, that's not how I meant it either.
The two of them awkwardly looked at their feet. Shannon had no parent. No parents after that.
Nope.
She had been brought up in an orphanage owned by Kinzo called the
Fuku-e.
fucking house.
The fucking house.
The fucking house. Under the guidance of Kinzo, their honorary director of the orphanage offered members who excelled a chance for on-the-job serving experience. In their efforts met with Kinzo's approval, they'd be able to leave the orphanage and work as servants for the Ushiromiya family. This was considered to be the highest honor for those who lived in the fucking house. Servants from the fucking house all took names with the character in them while they served. So Shannon wasn't her real name. The same went for Canon. All the members of the fucking house were orphaned. At least.
I love how you're laughing at it, Shane. It
I'm
tickles
laughing at
you.
it now. At least they were all people who had been separated from their parents under special circumstances. Because of this, the orphans had been taught to think of each other as their only family. That's why it seemed so natural for both of them when Canon called Shannon his sister. And while both Shannon and Canon were working in the mansion, there were several other servants possessing the character and their names, such as Manon and Lennon, who often worked in a rotation schedule.
Let's go, Adam. You got the star. Let's go.
However, there were not many servants who stayed with the Ushiromiya family for long. It was standard for them to quit after 3 years. You could probably say that Shannon, who had been working for 10 years, was a notable exception to the rule. Working as a servant for the Ushiromiya family was a heavy burden to bear, but the pay wasn't bad at all. Working for a full 3 years would earn more than what was needed to enter mainstream society. That was why, even though the orphans realized what a harsh task working for the Ushiromiya family was, they still hoped to be accepted. Maybe the fact that Shannon managed to continue working for 10 years wasn't because she had more willpower than the other 7. Maybe she'd gotten stuck working for 10 years because she didn't have the courage to say she wanted to quit. Kinzo couldn't even trust his own blood relatives, and those excellent servants from the fucking Fukuin.
Yeah,
Fukuin?
Fukuin, yeah.
From the Fukuin house were the only ones he could rely on.
I'm glad you're like, all right.
Fucking because of that, Kinzo would sometimes allow them to wear the family crest as servants under his direct control and have them work close to him. You've been working here for almost 10 years now, right? You must have saved up a lot of money by now.
I wonder. It's not like there's anything in particular I'd like to buy. After all, a few million yen isn't enough to live off of the rest of your life.
So the reason you've been working all this time wasn't to hit some target sum?
Hold on. I thought the music would be okay, but it's not. Anyway.
Yes, that's right. I have nowhere to go outside this mansion. And I have been getting along well with Milady and the other young servants. The madam does scold me sometimes, but caring for the roses and cleaning the mansion is fun.
But that can't be your entire life, Shannon-chan.
It's just Sayo-chan.
No. Sayo-chan? Shannon cast her eyes downward when she heard her real name.
Dude, he used her real name, not her screen name. That's crazy.
She understood what George was trying to was trying to say and felt
It's okay, Jade.
There's something I've learned as I continue to study, even after becoming an adult and full-fledged member of society. A human's life is not as monotonous or short as we thought when we were kids. School-age kids have certain fears they can't shake. They wonder whether they'll live the rest of their lives like sleepy classes after a monotonous and boring school day, spending their time in carefree laziness without anything interesting happening until it's all over. However, life's only like that for underage students. Compared to a human's life, the time they spend as students is nothing more than a blink of an eye, a period where they break through the shells of their immaturity. The inside shell might be a hot, suffocating, and boring world, but the world beyond that shell is vast and filled with limitless possibility. So far, your life has been trapped inside the shell called Shannon. I think you're under the mistaken impression that your life will continue like this forever.
That's...
Shannon couldn't deny those words. She'd been unable to harbor any clear doubts about her lifestyle. And since she never had any hope or goals for changing herself, she'd lazily continued living in the way she always had. And if asked whether life was satisfying, she wouldn't have been able to nod. She may have been intentionally averting her eyes from the truth. Without George's admonishments, she would have continued pretending to not notice her real life as it slipped away bit by bit, neglected.
George-sama, is it wrong for me to continue living this way?
Yeah, it is. Oh, and by the way, didn't you break one of our rules just now? George immediately gave a strict answer and then broke out into a mischievous smile. Shannon already knew what she was being chided for, and she hung her head again, apparently embarrassed. Didn't you promise not to use Sama when the two of us are alone?
I couldn't obey that as a promise, but if it was an order, I would have to obey it.
Damn! Sorry.
Damn!
Because I'm furniture.
Damn!
Then it's an order.
Yes, certainly, George-san.
Yippee!
Oh shit!
Oh, they're fucking!
As Shannon hung her head, her face red, she said George's name again, and this time following it with San.
Bars.
Yes, that's fine, Sayo-chan. George smiled at Shannon. No, Sayo. To praise her small act of bravery.
Adam! If you're furniture, you're the prettiest goddamn IKEA table I've seen, man.
You ain't like no Bjorn I ever sat in and would tell you.
Hell yeah.
This short exchange alone made it clear how far back their relationship must have stretched. For a long while, the two talked as if the weather raging about them didn't even enter their thoughts. They talked about the many memories they'd built during their relationship no one else had knew about. Every once in a while, a flash of lightning would attempt to interrupt them, but this could sully neither the roses nor the time they spent blushing at each other.
Wow.
Adam, I'm a Behinga Dinga Durgan on that. Yeah? Yeah, Adam?
When did straight Adam get here?
Yeah, I was like, who are you? Nah, not me, George. Ah, okay. You were speaking in George.
I gotcha. I thought we got like doppelganger straight Adam. That would be terrifying.
On opposite day, you gotta be straight, Adam. That'd be really funny.
That's right. I have something I wanted to show you.
What could it be?
George, who had been speaking eloquently, suddenly started to stutter. Watching him, Shannon seemed to guess something. Is he about to fucking propose? My man about to propose.
About to bump up to the IKEA table?
At the IKEA, propose at the IKEA table. Ooh.
Ooh.
something got caught in the depths of his pockets, and just like the stuttering George, it took a little while to get it out.
Wow. King.
It was a very small box.
Dude, no way.
Small box covered in a deep blue velvet. That peculiar shape was enough to tell anyone that resting inside, Shannon had prepared her heart somewhat, certain beforehand that this was what he'd been planning. But even so, when she actually saw it, she couldn't avoid blushing once more. George opened the small box, took something out, and held it out for Shannon to take. Oh, so they are gonna die. Cool, because that's what the thing said. That's what the thing said, right?
Yeah, they're gonna tear away the two that are close. That's what the
Oh my
epitaph
god, this music!
Yeah, right?
I want you to take this.
I couldn't accept something so valuable.
You can't take it?
No. I'm unworthy of such a thing.
Sayo, this isn't a request. It's an order. Take this ring. Okay?
If it's an order, I cannot disobey.
Let's go!
Yeah, that's right. Hold on.
Let's go! CG! Let's go!
This is very
Turning
early
that
in the
one.
story. I'm kind of surprised.
Well, I mean, through their conversation, it's alluding that they've been
I
having
imagine
this
this is
relationship
setting
for
up-
a while.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just surprised that the story would put something like this early on.
Mm-hmm.
This is setting up for immediate tragedy, I feel.
I bet that's what I'm guessing.
Shannon, not wanting to show her bright red face, timidly accepted the ring from George's hand while still staring at the ground. That ring wasn't a simple accessory. It was a noble object, meant since ancient times to be offered to a special woman under special circumstances. Therefore, while George could order her to take it, he could not order anything beyond that. Anything beyond that would depend on not an order, but on Shannon's, no, Sayo's own will. So, from here on, I'm not ordering you anymore. Sayo, I want you to give me your answer by tomorrow, without using words. Do you understand?
How should I?
I won't order you anything further, so this isn't an order. But a ring is something you put on your finger after all. If you like it, you can just put it on any finger you choose. Shannon only pretended to not. She already understood what he wanted her to do. But she was standing at a huge crossroads of her life. Look how late it's gotten. Let's call it a day.
Oh!
George turned away from Shannon, acting just a bit bluntly. I could probably order you to wear it on your left hand. You might be timid and dependent enough to actually obey that kind of an order. But I want at least this lap step to be done by your own will, Sayo. Understand?
Yes.
So that's my order. I want you to think about it well tonight, and show me your answer tomorrow. Shannon nodded back. Today was the culmination of their many days spent together. This moment certainly hadn't come as a surprise to Shannon. We should be getting back to the guest house soon. If we take any longer, we'll make everyone worry about us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just remembered something I had to do in the mansion. So, to go back to the mansion.
At a time like this? Is that true? George stared into Shannon's face as he laughed mischievously. He definitely saw through Shannon's lie. However, when he saw how she felt, he could sort of understand that she might be so embarrassed that she'd want to be alone. So because George realized the meaning behind Shannon's lie, he accepted.
Oh, the music! Oh, la, 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 la. Oh. It's spooky. Oh, it's 11 o'clock.
Beloved.
11 below cock. Bocock? Whoa.
Calm down.
Imagine being such a gooner. Am I right,
Hey,
Chet?
hey, hey!
Yeah. Gooning all the time. Shannon entered the entrance hall to the mansion with a tottering gait. A mixture of exhalation and uncertainty gave her a feeling like she couldn't easily describe. It swelled up in her chest until it felt like she was about to burst. After stopping for a second in front of the servant room to take a deep breath and calm her heart, she opened the door. Inside, Gerda, who had been ordered to take the midnight shift at the mansion tonight, was absorbed in a worn-out crossword puzzle magazine. He looked up for an instant to see if one of the family had come, but when he realized it was a fellow servant, he returned to his puzzle as if nothing had happened.
Genji-sama told me to come and help you.
Oh, is this my guy? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
your
Yeah,
brother.
that's your suburb.
Is that so? That's a relief. I was just about to go check that the mansion was fully locked up, but I felt uneasy about leaving this room unmanned. After all, Kraus-sama and the others' meeting looks as though... it will continue for quite some time. They might request some tea at any moment.
That's true. Then what shall we do? Should I watch over...
In that case, forgive me, Shannon-san, but I'll ask that you patrol the mansion. I will stay here awaiting the family's orders.
Yes.
Shannon was slightly disgusted. Even though she'd come here to help out as a favor, she was casually being forced to do the job of the person actually on duty. Furthermore, after one-sidedly forcing that task on her, Godo returned to his magazine once again, and became immersed in his crossword.
Wow, he's an asshole.
To be.
Shannon bowed her head as a token sign of respect for her elder, then left the room to patrol the mansion. Thanks to her being a bit ticked off, she managed to suppress that floaty feeling she'd been having until just now. And anyway, she couldn't let Genji or Cannon see her looking like it. She wanted a little time to prepare herself until her heart calmed down, so maybe going on patrol wouldn't be so bad. She began to hear from the tumultuous
Oh, boy.
voices of the family discussion coming from the dining. Someone was speaking at great length only to be interrupted by someone else. The second person had also began to speak in a very long, drawn-out fashion, until yet another person interrupted. That kept on repeating. It was as though their displeasure was seeping out through their voices. She had been told to go to the guest house so it wouldn't be bad if Kraus discovered her. Thinking this, Shannon dashed past the dining hall. Then she went along a prearranged route through the dark mansion, checking that all the locks were secure.
Oh my gosh, so much plotting.
She walked down the hall, checking each window. There were no humans on Rokkenjima other than those connected to the family, so locking up didn't really serve much of them. No one had been in the habit of locking up the Shiro head family, at least not until Natsui had scolded them for being careless. The metal fixtures on the windows were ice cold, and as she checked them one by one, the glow in her heart seemed to cool down.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's my girl.
It's beaches.
Beatrice!
Oh, hold on, my cousins are here. I gotta go.
No! Okay. Well, damn! What a cliffhanger to go on a break on.
Yeah.
God damn. Buffalo!
Beatrice!
Beatrice! We're gonna take a little break as Shane helps his Cobans. But we'll be right back after that.
Yippee!
Yippee! Have fun with the word game! I'll probably be playing it. Okay, bye!
I had to small talk with them. It was,
We're back. Cause, I mean, relatives suck.
I'd be less mad about it if they weren't terrible.
Real. Relatives suck.
At that time, she thought she saw something twinkling across the hall. Twinkling. How could anything be twinkling through the darkness of the hall? She figured she must have been imagining it, but she still held her breath. Grasping a curtain, she fearfully gazed down the hall. However, then the occasional crack of the thunder brightening the hallway, she was unable to glimpse any flicker again. It must have been her imagination after all. Maybe her heart was so agitated that she'd seen something that didn't even exist. Shannon went back to checking the windows. However, a certain unnerving memory was resurrected in the back of her mind. It was the ghost story, which had been passed down amongst the servants who had served the Shiromir head family. The mansion had two different masters, one of the day and one of the night. Beatrice, the master of the night, would sometimes fly around the mansion in the form of sparkling butterfly. That was the story. Come to think of it, did Kinnuncun once say he'd seen it with his own eyes? Though he got sulky when I said he must have imagined it, and refused to believe him. Could it possibly be true? The roar of the thunder gave no answer.
Damn. Rain.
Ah, yes, more transition images with a still filter over
Woo,
the top
woo,
of it.
woo!
Could have just repeated the texture and make it go down, and then it would have been animated, but you know, whatever.
That's fine. It's whatever. It's rain.
Excuse me.
Damn. Hey, baby, girl.
Hello.
Ooh, ding dong.
Don't
bing
poop
bong.
yourself.
Her dress is hiding a toilet that she's sitting on.
Oh. Hey, girl. Hey, hey. Why is it getting louder?
Don't look at me like that.
Don't look at me with those eyes.
Look at me with them big old eyes.
Oh, hey.
That's what she sounds like. I want to touch my cousin's breast.
Yeah.
Don't clip that shot.
Clip that.
Clip.
Immediately clip that.
Shot,
Immediately clip that. I want that
Bennett,
remixed
ever.
into. I want the club mix now.
I want to touch my cousin's breasts Eurobeat remix.
I want to touch. I want to touch. I want to touch.
Breast.
Ooh.
Oh.
Sorry, I just came a little. My bad.
Oh.
Oh boy. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. It's 7 o'clock.
6 a.m.
6 o'clock a.m.
Wake up in the morning
Morning
feeling like B. Diddy.
Diddy. Oh. The second day.
Oh, hey, my birthday.
Happy birthday! It's the second day.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday.
Everyone's gonna die on their birthday.
Genji tightened his bow tie and looked outside through the crack in the curtains. Yes. Maybe the rain had died down a tiny bit since the previous night. But the thick rain clouds didn't seem like they'd be letting any trace of the morning sun get by. The morning was dim and far from refreshing.
It seems it will last all day after all.
That's what I said.
Sorry for keeping you waiting, Genji-sama.
Cannon finished checking his appearance and exited the washroom. On the normal schedule, it was rare for anyone to have to suffer going straight from a midnight shift into an early morning shift. They were on a special schedule for the 2 days of the family conference. However, unless the typhoon passed today, the relatives to stay on this island would last until tomorrow. Cannon thought it best to be prepared for the special schedule to last an extra day.
Dipperdosh.
Die. The two of them left the guest house. I'm dying, opening their umbrellas.
Reboot.
The rose garden had been devastated by the wind and the rain on the previous night. Even though they'd spent several days making it beautiful to welcome the guests, one stormy night would be enough to ruin it. Cannon sighed. The two headed for the mansion. They were supposed to meet up with Goda and prepare breakfast. Goda was such a perfectionist that he had probably already woken up and probably already prepared breakfast as exquisite and elegant as glassware. Okay, so he does a good job. He's just also an egotist.
Yeah.
I guess so.
They reached the overhang by the entrance of the mansion and folded up their umbrellas. Genji took a bundle of several keys from his pocket and unlocked the front gate. Well, if he's actually good at his job, he's just not humble about it. Can't complain too much. The Shiromiya family mansion was the only thing on Rokkenjima, so in the past they hadn't been in the habit of locking up. However, Natsuhi had ordered that the mansion be locked up from midnight to early morning. Ever since then, unlocking the door in the early morning had become part of the servants' morning shift. This task had been given to Genji and Cannon so that Goda could start preparing breakfast as soon as he woke up. Silence had fallen in the mansion, giving the impression that the mansion itself was still asleep.
Well then, let us begin the morning chores.
Yes, sir.
The two of them split up and began opening curtains throughout the mansion. If the curtain stayed closed, the mansion would remain enveloped in faint darkness, as though it was still trapped in from the previous night. Following a well-rehearsed procedure, Cannon went around the mansion, opening the curtains for one window after another, without having to retrace his steps once. Even with this horrible weather drawing, the curtains made it feel just a little bit like morning. While doing that, he did the gritty passed in front of the kitchen. Even though he hadn't smelled anything yet, his stomach started aching for some of Goda's prized cooking.
That's so real. He grittied into the kitchen.
Gritty's in.
Gritty. Right foot cream.
What was that?
Good morning.
He tried to get Goda, who should have been getting breakfast ready. But Goda was nowhere to be seen. Oh, please be dead. The kitchen was darkly lit, and not only were the curtains not open, but the fan wasn't even running. It was still cold, without any trace of a fire being lit, so of course there were no signs of breakfast being made either. Though it would have been inexcusable, perhaps Goda had overslept. Even servants are only human. They sometimes sleep in and show up late, In the rare case that such a thing happens, it's part of a servant's code to hide the unsightly scene before anyone notices, smoothly covering it up. And make sure the family never even realizes anything has gone wrong. Cannon took the receiver of the phone that had been fitted to the wall and dialed the number for the extension line in the servant's sleeping room. He couldn't hear the characteristic sound of a dial tone. Cannon tried picking up the receiver again, but even so, he couldn't hear the usual dial tone. He tried dialing again, but it had no apparent effect. Could the lightning last night have damaged some machine breaking the extension line? The equipment in this mansion was all worn out. Cannon fully understood that even the smallest thing could have caused it to break down. He gave up trying to wake Godo with the phone and dashed over to the servant's sleeping room.
Oh boy!
Dead, dead, dead,
I
dead,
hope
dead,
nothing's
dead.
wrong. Wow, I think this is. Wait,
This is Battler?
who? I don't know.
How long has it been since I started
Thanks,
sleeping?
Kermit.
Started easy.
Oh,
Sense
it's
of awake.
Natsuhi.
Which one's Nazi?
That's the wife of Kraus.
Oh yeah,
the headache one?
She should really get on that.
Yeah, real. Thanks, Kermit.
You're welcome.
Okay, now it's third person.
Oh fuck. That vague sense of awakening was part of Natsuhi's usual morning experience. She always slept lightly, and she couldn't sleep at all without medicine. To Natsuhi, sleep was definitely not a happy thing. When she looked outside, she saw that it was still pouring. If she hadn't sensed a tiny amount of light, she might have mistakenly thought that it was still the previous night. She herself was one of the hosts, so she mustn't wake up later than her guests. Urging herself on, she raised up her body, which still hadn't completely recovered from yesterday's weariness. No one would torment her as long as she remained inside this room. And her headache wouldn't get any worse here. This room was the only place she could find peace. So when she left, it meant returning to the world where her husband's siblings kept trying to stab each other in the...
Metaphorically. Totally.
In that case, them literally stabbing each other in the back, literally. Wouldn't it be just better to stay locked up in this room forever and not get stabbed in the back literally for real in real life? That ridiculous notion brought a bitter smile to Natsuhi's face. She was starting to sound like Kinzo. Though she often complained about Kinzo staying locked up in his own room and refusing to attend everyone else, the truth was that she longed to do the same. He gave her head a small shake. Her fantasy was replaced by the reawakening of her usual headache.
Doorknob.
When she reached the doorknob trying to leave the room, her hand touched the scorpion charm that she had hung from it before going to sleep the previous night. It was Maria's charm, which Natsuhi had received from Jessica. Didn't Jessica say something about it having the power to repel magic? Telling her to hang it from her doorknob? Maybe it was thanks to the charm that at least the room hadn't been protected from the malice of her husband's siblings. As she thought this, her mood began to get a little more cheerful.
I wonder if I have Jessica to thank for the little bit of peaceful sleep I managed to receive.
Then Natsuhi remembered.
That's
her.
Last night I promised Jessica that I'd give her a charm of my own in exchange for this one, didn't I?
It's straight up just in the same text
Yep.
box. Wow.
No quotes or anything, dude.
Damn.
Crazy.
Nazi opened a drawer on her dresser and took out an antique accessory case that she had treasured when she was a child. Inside, there were many small objects that Natsuhi had thought were valuable at the time. From amidst those, she pulled out a red pouch. Inside was a small round mirror, about around 10 centimeters across. It looked quite old, but the design on the back of the mirror was very ornate. It felt like something with historical value. At the very least, it seemed like much more authentic than the other charm, which looked like a plastic scorpion keychain. She had heard that this was spiritual mirror for warding off evil spirits, and she had been given it especially by her grandmother when her grandmother's mementos had been distributed. It had been believed since long ago that a strange power resided in this mirror. Perhaps people thought it could reflect calamity and malice in the same way it reflected light. Natsuhi returned the mirror to its pouch. It would probably be a fitting object to hand over to Jessica. Just as she was placing it in her pocket, the sound of someone knocking on the door suddenly echoed throughout the room.
Yes?
Good morning, madam. It's Genji. My apologies for waking you so early.
I'm coming now. What is it?
No servant had ever come to her this early in the morning, nor had they come to wake her in person. Perhaps something bad had happened. Maybe some fatal oversight had been made while preparing breakfast, something that would shame the household in front of the guests. Natsuhi took a deep breath in anticipation for whatever troubles she was about to hear of. When she opened the door, Genji once again gave a morning greeting while bowing. Natsuhi tentatively responded.
Good morning. Did something happen?
My apologies. It would seem that the telephones have broken down due to the lightning last night. The extension telephone isn't working, so please forgive my coming to see you directly.
The extension telephone isn't working. That will be troublesome. Will it be possible to fix it?
I'm afraid we don't know the location of the damage. Later on, I would like to call in an expert and have him repair it.
Does that mean we'll be unable to have it repaired until after the typhoon passes? Then it will remain broken down for the duration of our guest's stay. Will that hamper our efforts to care for our guests?
We will do all we can. We will do all we can to ensure there are no problems. Hibbity hobbity.
Very well. I'm counting on you to make sure we have no blunders.
Natsuhi let out a small sigh of relief. She had been prepared for the worst. But damage to the telephones wasn't the kind of trouble she was worried about. Then again, even this would probably be enough to spark sarcasm from Eva. Natsuhi gave her head a light shake.
Are the preparations for breakfast proceeding well?
As to that, we haven't been able to find Goda.
Dead.
The arrangements for breakfast have yet to be carried out.
What did you say?
Natsuhi was indignant. To her, this was a much bigger problem than the phones not working. And despite that, this piece of information was the part that had been postponed. Why did everything go well for most time and then come to something like this when the relatives were visiting? Natsuhi put her hand to her forehead and shook her head.
Well, I suppose he slept in. At any rate, just see to it that someone hurries up and finishes and prepares breakfast. I don't care who. What?
Natsuhi exited into the dining hall and turned around for a second to close the door to her room. The creepy thing she saw there silenced her completely. It was an unpleasant sight, as though someone had dipped their fingers in a reddish-black liquid and scratched at the door around the doorknob. It was probably just some awful prank, arranged by some person who wanted to make it look as though they had tried to force through the door with bloody hands.
What sort of prank is this? How awful!
I also just noticed it as I came to call you. I will clean it later.
Perhaps. This is a vulgar joke by one of the guests. Disgusting. Truly disgusting. Who in the world will pull out such a challenge and blame and break?
Natsuhi had a pretty good idea, but of course there was no proof. So even if she pushed the issue, it would just seem as though she was making a fuss about nothing. In fact, it would surely be better to act as though she hadn't even realized that such a prank had been played on her. Natsuhi gave the order to have it cleaned and headed off to the parlor with a squeak of her heels.
With the squeak?
I guess. When Natsuhi and Genji arrived in the parlor, Ava and Hideyoshi were already there. Thank you, JR.
Good morning, everyone.
Putting it
Morning, Natsuhi-san. I heard Goda-san will be making us breakfast, too. My stomach's been getting all excited since I woke up.
After all, it seems food is all you can look forward to at the head family household. I am pleased to see you two are in high spirits so early in the morning, Ava-san.
With a weary expression, Natsuhi returned to Ava's gaze, which was fiercely competitive despite the early hour. Then Cannon jogged in. After bowing an apology to the relatives for running inside the mansion, he noticed Genji and told him something in a small voice.
Cannon, have you still not found Goda?
My apologies, madam. I went all over the inside of the mansion and the guest house, but I still haven't found him.
Where in the world has he gone? At any rate, breakfast is a higher priority than finding Goda right now. See to it immediately.
Dale.
Yes.
Cannon glanced at Genji. It seemed he had something else to report, but was uncertain whether or not the word should come from him. Genji nodded and decided to give the report himself.
Madam, it is not only Goda. Your husband is also nowhere to be found.
My husband?
Yes. Even before visiting you, I went to his room to tell him that breakfast wasn't being prepared, but I did not find him anywhere. Furthermore, he's not the only one missing. Rudolph-sama, his wife, and Rosa-sama are nowhere to be found.
Not in the guest house, nor the mansion?
Yes. They were not in their rooms in the guest house either.
When she'd heard that Goda alone was missing, she assumed he had slept in, or was loafing around somewhere. However, now that she'd learned that several of the relatives were also nowhere to be seen, she began to take a slightly more optimistic view. Could last night's family conference have continued all night up until the present moment? If so, they might have wanted to cool their heads after being shut in a stuffy room, out for walks in the road through the rain. The part about cooling their heads really sounded like something Kraus would say. Goda had probably been summoned to accompany them and aid them in some way. Goda was not a man who lost track of time. He had to understand that preparations for breakfast would be hindered if he did not return. However, maybe the family conference had continued until this very moment. With an atmosphere that would make it hard for anyone to slip out. Yet that theory would be quite convincing for Natsuhi. She'd remembered the illusion she'd felt that morning as though the previous night had never ended. When she learned that feeling wasn't just an illusion, she once again took a deep breath. Weary breath. After all, the banquet of filthy vultures circling Kinzo's property was still going on.
Perhaps they are still discussing the inheritance somewhere in the garden, or maybe the beach. At any rate, if we don't call Goda back, we'll never be able to begin preparations for breakfast.
So what are you saying? Are Nissan and the rest still continuing their discussion?
She had planned to say it in a small voice, but Hideyoshi overheard Natsuhi and managed to grasp the situation.
Nissan and Rudolph sure are tough. Maybe it's just youth in Rosa's case. Just a bit after midnight, the two of us were so tired that we headed back to bed. Though I do remember that Nissan and the rest were still having a heated discussion at that point. Men certainly are unpleasant when they get all fired up.
Natsuhi snorted, her face still blank.
Snorted is a description.
Canon, search outside. If you find Goda, tell him to return immediately and begin preparing breakfast.
Certainly.
None of these people know how to cook! Natsuhi-ne-san, we don't know for sure that they're outside, do we? Couldn't they also be inside Father's study?
I see. That's certainly possible. I don't know what path their conversation took, but there's certainly a chance they moved to Father's study and let him in on the discussion.
I can't imagine that Father would willingly let them bring such a detestable topic into his study. You really think so? Well then, there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry, Genji-san and Kanon-kun, but could you search outside? It wouldn't be that strange for Nisan to suggest they go outside for a walk to cool their heads, even in this weather. I'll go to Father's study. Who knows, they might actually be there after all. Ava-san, I couldn't ask a guest like you to exert herself so. I will go. I can also wish him a good morning while I'm at it. Oh, then I'll leave it in your hands. Though I somehow doubt he'll return your greeting.
Wow, okay.
Natsuhi-ne-san, have you always been on such good terms with Father? I don't know whether you could call it that, but I'm sure that I have gained his trust as the wife of the successor to the Ushinomiya family. Then I'm sure he'll at least answer you, right? I'd like to at least have breakfast with Father. Do you think you could convince him to come down and join us? It seems that he thoroughly despises the rest of us, but I'm sure he'll listen to you, if he trusts you that much. After speaking so boldly, if you're unable to convince Father and come down alone, then I doubt you'll ever be able to claim that you've earned his trust again. I am not confident, but I will try.
Natsuhi responded, looking discouraged. However, knowing Kinzo's temperament, she had absolutely no confidence in her ability to bring him out. Ava was clearly mocking her, confident that Natsuhi wouldn't be able to get Kinzo to come down. But even so, Natsuhi would lose face if she gave up, saying it was impossible and letting Ava go instead. Ava's mean-spirited and unreasonable demand made Natsuhi clench her fists slightly. When Genji realized this, he spoke softly to her over her shoulder.
Madam, please take this if you would.
And this is?
Genji handed Natsuhi a sparkling gold key of ornate design. It was the key to Ginzo's study. The study had an auto
lock? Yeah.
Auto, and couldn't be unlocked as long as Kinzo forbade the entrance. However, since Genji was especially trusted by Kinzo, he was allowed to carry a key for that door.
But if this key is used, won't you also receive the blame?
When the master is sleeping deeply, simply knocking on the door will not suffice. And it would be more difficult to persuade the master to leave his room if you must talk through the door. Please use this.
Genji.
Wow.
Wow, Genji.
Cool guy Genji.
Cool guy, Genji.
Until now, Natsuhi had thought of Genji as a cold servant who wouldn't do anything for her since he worked directly under Kinzo. But it looked like she would have to alter her understanding of him. She wanted to communicate her gratitude, but by then Genji had already turned his back on her and was walking down the corridor. But as Natsuhi watched them go, the words directed at her from behind were sneering.
Well then, you must bring Father with you, okay? After all, it's his son's precious wife who's asking. I'm sure he'll listen to you. We're guests, so we're just relax here at our leisure.
Quit it, Ava. You're taking this too far. Sorry, Natsuhi-ne-san, but we're counting on you to deal with Father.
Without answering, Natsuhi forcefully spun around on her heels and quickly left.
These people are assholes!
Well, so is she.
Everyone's an asshole!
There you go.
Oh, hey! I think it's battle time!
Yippee!
Battle time!
After all that excitement the previous night, there was no way anyone was going to wake up early. George, Aniki, Jessica, and I were snoring loudly on the beds in the cousin's room. But Maria, who had gone straight to bed without joining in, was completely awake. As she rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked around, she was met with the loud snoring of the other 3 cousins. For a while, Maria had to think about what had happened. After that, she realized that her mother wasn't with her, excuse me. And she quickly got lonely. Fuck!
Oh my god!
I just want to read the words on the screen. It's so hard, guys. This shit is so hard. Do something else with your lives.
It doobie doobie doo.
Doobie doobie doo.
Maria left the cousin's room, trying to head to the room that had been arranged for her and her mother.
Oh.
Paying no heed to the 3 who were sleeping loudly, or sleeping soundly, she slammed the door shut. Guys, I'm cooked. What? Oh my god.
In response, Battler mumbled and rolled over in his sleep, but it wasn't enough to wake him up. After a while, Maria returned once again, opening the door with a lively bang. When she had left the room, her face had been sleepy, but now that she was back, she looked irritated. After that, she climbed up on Battler's bed, which had happened to be the closest, and started yelling and jumping on it like it was a trampoline.
Wake up!
Ah! What? Is it an enemy raid? Surround them! After making sure I was awake, Maria moved over to George Aniki's bed and started jumping on that, too. In that manner, the 3 of us were all greeted with an extremely pleasant awakening.
Thanks for waking us up, Maria-chan. You stopped us from sleeping in after that late night. If only you could have been a little more gentle about it.
George Nissan, you really are an adult. I respect that.
What is that supposed to mean?
That means he takes
He
it with...
wasn't-
Yeah, he didn't get mad
Yeah,
at
he
her.
wasn't bitching.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
It'll be 7 o'clock soon. Well, it's not really a bad time to wake up.
A bit. I would have locked her out of the room if that was my little. I would have stuck her outside of the room, locked the room, barricaded the door, and said, "Don't wake me up."
Mama's not here!
Rosa, she wasn't in her room? I wonder if she's already woken up and gone to the mansion.
Not here! Mama!
Wow. Maria kept groaning ooh-ooh and looking unhappy. She didn't exactly seem lonely because her mother wasn't around. It's more like she was irritated and thrown off balance because her mother wasn't where she had expected.
Oh, autism.
So much tism, bro.
It's
If we could
okay,
just
Maria.
tell her where her mother was, that alone would probably calm her down. But unfortunately, we had no way of knowing where Aunt Rosa was, except that she wasn't here.
Anyway, it's time for breakfast, so let's head over to the mansion and I'll ignore your suffering, small child.
Yeah. Fuck you.
That's right! Maria, let's go to the mansion together, okay? I'm sure Aunt Rosa will be there too.
Mama's in the mansion? Then I'll go there.
Yeah, I guess we should go to the mansion. Our parents have probably already gone there. I sleep in a suit.
Yeah, so do I.
Ah, neat.
Maria regained her usual composure so completely, her earlier tantrum now seemed like a lie. We got dressed, left the room, and headed for the mansion.
Oh god, it's still raining! Oh god!
Do you remember the rain? That's exactly what I was thinking too, Adam.
And we're switching perspective again.
Hooray!
Once more, there was a knocking sound on the study door, like someone was knocking on the study door. You could have just said, but there was no answer.
He seemed to be sleeping still, and I could not wake him. See, this is what they should be doing! This is what they should have been doing the whole time to put quotes there! Anyway.
if she went back downstairs and said something like that, Ava would probably be amused and triumphant. And even putting Ava aside, it was problematic that Kinzo had stayed shut away during this entire once-a-year conference, not even coming down to greet anyone. Even the family head, and especially the family head, couldn't fail to make an appearance. That one should be her.
Yeah. I wonder if I can convince him myself.
Natsuhi readied herself and used the key that she'd borrowed from Genji to open the door. Dead.
Dead. Are you dead in there, sir?
I've been dead in here for years. Even though she was prepared for the sweet stench which seemed to eat into one's brain as it poured out the small crack of the door, she couldn't help but grimace. Thinking that he might still be sleeping, Natsuhi entered the room quietly.
Oh, hey, bro.
When she did, Kinzo was already awake and looking down out of the window.
So you're awake. Good morning.
How did you get in? Kinzo spoke with his back still facing her. His voice was not harsh but calm, and Natsuhi was slightly reassured. However, though he was awake, he wouldn't have ignored all that knocking if he was in a good mood. Natsuhi wasn't able to relax.
My sincere apologies. I asked Genji-san and he allowed me to borrow the key to the study.
Oh, Genji did? If my friend thought it was that important, then I have no choice but to listen. So, what business do you have with me?
Well, breakfast will be ready soon, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would join us.
I will eat here. Have it brought here like always.
But, Father, this family conference happens only once a year. Please, at least let them see your face.
Go back downstairs. Are you asking me to join in as they discuss how to chew up my inheritance after I die? How foolish.
Let them speak of such matters as much as they please without me. And if that's what you call a family conference, it's hardly worth leaving my room for it.
I am busy. Do not bother me.
His last words carried the threat that any further questions would not be appreciated. Natsuhi realized that adding any further pleas would finally bring his wrath down upon her. She didn't look forward to facing Eva's sarcasm, but there was nothing more Natsuhi could do.
Is that so? Understood. I'm sure everyone will be sorry to hear it, but I will tell them.
Natsuhi decided to give up like a bitch. Bowing silently, she tried to leave the room before Kinzo's spasmodic temper could flare up. Because mode refers to frequency, so I figured spasmodic.
King.
As she did, Kinzo spoke to her. His voice was so calm and gentle it felt like it came from an entirely different person.
Natsuhi, it has been quite some time since you married into the Shiromiya family.
Yes, it has been many years since I was first permitted to bear the name Ushiromiya.
Do you sometimes long for your previous family?
No. Marriage means abandoning your birth family. I am Ushiromiya Natsuhi. The Ushiromiya family is the only family I can come home to, the only one I am fond of.
She truly wasn't exaggerating. Such was the resolve she felt whenever she applied to the Ushiromiya family name to herself. And that's precisely why she was so saddened when her husband didn't treat her like an Ushiromiya, leaving her to race about in vain. Oh gosh, where's this going?
If Kraus were a woman and you his husband... No, I won't say that.
What do you mean by that? Father.
Natsuhi was shocked. Kinzo's words just now were what they seemed. It would have been more than enough to make up for all she had suffered to that point.
Forget it. It's just the nonsense of an old man.
Kinzo once again faced away from her. He told her to forget it, but Natsuki couldn't help feeling a warmth in her heart.
Father, even though I, Natsuhi, am not connected to you by blood, I am still your daughter. I will most assuredly see to it that your honor and glory and everything you have left behind are protected.
You do not have the right to wear the one-winged eagle. However, the one-winged eagle is surely engraved in your heart. That is the irrefutable proof that you are my blood relative, one who will inherit the glory of the Yoshiromiya family. Some will sneer that there is no eagle on your clothes, but such words are not worth lending an ear to. Only those who hold the eagle in their hearts are my true blood relatives. And now consider it an honor that you were welcomed into the Yoshiromiya family.
Without saying anything more, Kinzo remained with his back to Natsuhi. However, Natsuhi couldn't help but feel something warm well up inside her that she hadn't felt since long ago, when she had been just a child. Natsuhi bowed silently to his back and left the room.
Ah, good timing. How is father? You were taking so long. So I came to check.
When Natsuhi left the study, she saw Ava climbing the stairs, and their eyes met. Ava was smirking unpleasantly, thinking that Natsuhi would leave grudgingly after failing to convince Kinzo. However, the way Natsuhi was now such a frivolous laugh would not disturb her. She was not permitted to wear the family crest on her clothing, but she was permitted to wear it in her heart. So she spoke calmly, clearly, and confidently, with the dignity of the one who would protect the Yoshiromiya family's glory.
Father said that he would not join in on the family conference. He says he has no interest in discussing such obscene matters. I figured you'd say something like that. If you failed to persuade father, just say so. How pitiful. I'm beginning to see why father lamented so. What do you mean by that?
Natsuhi did not answer. Just as Kinzo had done earlier, she showed Ava her back as she headed down the stairs.
Get it, bitch!
Ava finally realized that she was being made fun of, that something had happened too quickly to bolster Natsuhi's confidence. Even so, she apparently didn't have the courage to risk Kinzo's wrath. Unable to even knock on the door, she could only click her tongue. Make a motion as though scratching at it and follow after Natsuhi.
So, were Nissan and the rest there? Did you ask father about them? I didn't get the chance to ask, but they were not inside the study. Father would never let them into his room to discuss such a lowly topic, so it is unlikely he knows where they went. Let us go downstairs and wait for the servants to return from their search. Breakfast may be late, but how would you like some tea, Ava-san? That would be fine.
Ava couldn't find her confusion at the complete difference in Natsuhi's attitude. She was acting so boldly, and while Ava hated to admit it, she even seemed like she had a sense of dignity about her. Unable to find fault with anything, Ava could only follow Natsuhi back to the parlor.
Let's go, bitch! Let's go, bitch! That's my bitch!
Nah.
I kind of expected something like this might happen.
Yeah?
Excuse me.
That like, well, he would favor somebody that's technically not blood, but he's
Yeah.
like, you get what I'm about. You get me.
Yeah.
So you get the honor.
You get the honor.
When the two of them returned to the parlor, Hideyoshi had been joined by the 4 children and nun. Genji, who had been talking with Hideyoshi, reported the current situation, where he noticed that Natsuhi had returned.
You still have not found my husband and the rest?
Yes, my apologies. Also, Kumasawa has started preparing breakfast. She said that she will just need a little longer.
The clock read a little past 8. 8 should have been the time to start breakfast. Normally, going over the time limit would be a disgrace to the host.
Cannon is now searching outside. Also, no one has seen... Dude!
Hello?
I don't know, I'm tripping hard. Also, no one has seen Shannon either.
Even Shannon's missing? Truly, just how many people did my husband bring with him on this little walk?
Just how many people had gone missing by now? Now that the number was this large, it was starting to feel truly unpleasant, as though the people here were the only ones being left out of something interesting. At least that seemed to reflect the feelings of the children, and Maria in particular. She was indignant, her stomach grumbling, almost as though her mother and the others had left her alone to go off and eat something delicious without her. The other children were flipping through the channels on the television, trying to find a program that might interest Maria and cheer her up again. Nanjo was sitting on the sofa, gazing blissfully at the children while reading a book. It must have been a book about chess. The sound of footsteps came rushing towards them with a pitter-patter. There was only one set, so they realized before seeing who it belonged to that it was probably Cannon, not Kraus and the rest.
Madam, excuse me.
Judging by your appearance, you still haven't been able to find them.
My apologies. I still haven't.
That will be enough. You've worked hard.
Oh, to say the switch so quick. She didn't know where they were, but they had to be somewhere on it. They hadn't had a thing to eat since the previous night, so their stomachs must be growling. They'd probably come plodding back off their own accord before long. By now, Natsuhi was thoroughly exasperated and started to feel that there was no reason to go out of their way in search.
I will go to the kitchen to prepare some tea for all the guests. Thanks to both of you for all your hard work so early in the morning. Vroom!
Vroom vroom.
Natsuhi left the parlor, acting as though the release in tension had caused a new surge in her headache. Cannon tried to call her back, but Natsuhi left swift.
What is it? Was there something else?
Yes. I was unable to find her husband or anyone else, but... well...
Cannon sounded evasive. It looked as though he didn't know where they were, but had spotted something that might be connected to their disappearance. Ava and Hideyoshi noticed this exchange of words and came out. They'd probably picked up on something strange in Cannon's behavior.
What's going on, Cannon-kun? You find Chris, Nissan, and everyone else?
actually, the Rose Garden storehouse looked strange.
What do you mean? It looked strange?
It was, how should I explain it?
Cannon hesitated once more. His tone wasn't at all what you'd expect from this usually fearless boy. Seeing this, Ava and Hideyoshi looked at each other dubiously.
What do you mean? Are you saying Nissan and the others were inside the storehouse?
No, I'm going to inspect the inside now. I just now came back to get the key, but...
I don't really get it, but it sounds like we've just got to look around inside it. Where's the key to that storehouse?
It is in the servant room. Let us check inside the storehouse at once.
Dude, they went on a bender last night.
Yeah.
They found Kinzo's Kush stash.
Stash
Wow.
in the rose garden storehouse.
The 10,000 bricks of hashish.
Alright. By the way, when do you guys want to find a point to stop? Because I probably want to get started on dinner kind of soon.
Probably here soon.
After the scene.
For sure.
Cannon dashed off to the servant room and returned with the key. Genji left the parlor saying that he would go and check, but then Eva and Hideyoshi followed after. What was this something strange about the storehouse that had caused the usually fearless Cannon to hesitate? If it was still pouring outside, perhaps the curiosity over this something that Cannon could talk about won out. While the children made a big fuss watching television, Cannon and the rest dashed over to the entrance. Dead.
Dead.
The Rose Garden storehouse was a place that housed various tools used to manage the garden. It was definitely not a pretty building. Because of its appearance, it had been built so that it was hidden in the corner of the Rose Garden. Kanon, Genji, Eva, and Hideyoshi came cutting across the Rose Garden, holding umbrellas. They entered a small path just off the Rose Garden, which was normally off limits for those appreciating the garden, and only used by those maintaining it. As they dashed down that, the storehouse came into view in front of them. It was quite an old shed, and compared to the flawlessly perfect beauty of the Rose Garden, it was pretty seedy looking. For the 1980s, that looks like a pretty fucking modern shed. It's easy to understand why it had been built in a hard-to-see place. Eva and Hideyoshi arrived at the storehouse long after Kanon and Genji.
You two sure are fast. Thought my heart was gonna explode.
I never knew why they had a storehouse way over here. But what is that?
Oh my god.
When Eva looked where Kanon was pointing, she was at a loss for words. Noticing this, Hideyoshi followed Kanon's finger and was likewise too shocked to speak. The entrance to the storehouse was a kind of shutter, and there, everyone suddenly realized why Kanon had been unable to find the words to describe what they now saw.
Dead body, dead body.
On the shutter, which was completely filthy for being exposed to wind and rain for so long, stuck right on it. There was something that looked like a strange dark red liquid. Mucus? Maybe some sticky paint. An indescribably eerie shape was drawn on the shutter with some kind of ghastly substance. The rain had caused it to drip down like fresh blood eking from an open wound. No more beating around the bush. There was some kind of mark was drawn there, with a ghastly substance that looked like blood, in a shape that seemed to suggest something ominous. 2 circles were drawn there, and inside of them was a design that looked like a cross. The 4 ends of the cross were widely exaggerated, and it looked like some sort of crescent from somewhere around Europe. And in the cracks between these shapes, written closely packed together, were some unfamiliar characters or possibly symbols.
What a vulgar bit of graffiti. Could this be one of those? One of those magic circles used in demonic ceremonies?
It wasn't surprising that Hideyoshi would say that about such a ghastly shape drawn in a deep red dripping substance.
When was this made?
Last night. I came here before it started raining, and there was nothing drawn here at that time.
We must do something before anyone else sees us. If they laid eyes upon it, it would cause them great discomfort.
That's right. Even though it's just a shed, I wouldn't want to leave such an unpleasant piece of graffiti alone for even a second longer than I had to.
There's some paint inside the storehouse. Let us paint over it temporarily as an emergency measure. Then repaint it again someday when the weather is good.
Genji remembered that he had just recently seen another scribble, and that it too had been made with a stream, dark red substance of the same color as this. That must have been... That's right, he'd seen it on the door to Natsuhi's room.
Kanan-kun, let's remove this scribble quickly and go back, okay? Even though it's just a storehouse, it's really irritating to have graffiti around the home I was brought up in.
Yes, ma'am. I will take care of it immediately.
Cannon squatted in front of the shutter and unlocked it. He then lifted it up with all of his strength. A boisterous noise resounded, and an eerie shape drawn on the shutter began to get sucked in through the top as the shutter was raised. At least for the time being, that ominous drawing disappeared from their direct gaze, and they had all breathed a sigh of relief.
Wow!
Wow.
Is that a good time to end it, or do we want to go through the rest?
I just want to get dinner done in time to eat because I have to do other stuff in like less than 2 hours.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I gotta. Oh, we're doing the initial
Well, damn.
session 0. For
We're
the other
we're
thing.
literally almost there. We're literally, I could taste it.
Well, that would be good for the next part.
Oh my god, guys, what's
Oh my
gonna
God.
happen?
And
You'll have to
on
tune in next
Okay.
time.
Thanks so much for watching. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. 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 See you later. Ta-ta.